I scaled my agency from 20K a month to 50K a month thanks to this LinkedIn system. Now, I've also generated over 8,000 email leads and I've done 1.6 million impressions. Lindsay also partially used this system and has done 11K. Dushan, he's done 8,000 plus inbound. He's got 8,000 plus inbound leads. Gabriele, who's done over 60K in the last 90 days thanks to this system, and he's also gotten over 3.5K inbound leads. And Bader, who collected in one single day 5K and has gotten 2.6K inbound leads. Now, let me break this LinkedIn and this whole kind of system. Now, this system has two main acquisition sources. One, of course, being LinkedIn, and the second one being cold email. Now, let me break it down for you guys and go through LinkedIn first. Now, for LinkedIn, you want to be running content and doing outreach. Very simple. So, inbound and outbound. Now, for inbound, here are the content types you want to be running and the content styles, ideas, whatever you want to label them, you want to be running, which is three: lead magnets, proof/credibility driven lead content, and then personal stories and value driven content. These are the three content types you want to be doing on LinkedIn to ensure you have a pretty good volume of calls, leads, and overall sales. Okay. Now let me break down lead magnets. Now, how do you write lead magnets? Well, that definitely needs more attention to just like a system breakdown. So I'm not going to go fully in depth on how to write lead magnets, but I'll briefly just lecture you on how I went viral and how my clients went viral. Now, you want to be selecting a very broad topic or a very broad ICP, so a very broad kind of viewer, if we may, and or a very broad solution. So it's something that a lot of people can resonate. That's how you do volume. And I think it's pretty obvious, of course, but of course you want to keep that in mind. You can't just go viral from tonight till tomorrow morning. You just can't hope for that. You can have a banger lead magnet, but it just won't work. So there's a lot of circumstances and factors that influence if you're going to go very viral or just somewhat viral. Okay. Now it's very gradual thing. So lead magnets that will end up doing over 1,000 comments will happen through time, through creating that momentum. So gaining traction on LinkedIn, eventually you'll end up doing these type of results. So you need to be very consistent before to even expect these type of numbers. But once you do, and you will get to this point, of course, thanks to this system, because you will also have access to this lead magnet breakdown. So how to, the core idea, the hook, the story, the proof, the offer, the psychology behind it, how you want to, the copy structure and the formatting, when to post it, and all of that kind of stuff. You'll have access to that whole lead magnet pattern breakdown in this video as well, somewhere around this video. But once you start using lead magnets the right way, you'll end up doing very high volumes, but resulting in very low quality leads. What does that mean? Well, in some of these, lead magnets I made, you can see the engagement I've gotten thanks to those lead magnets. Most of them were solving a broad solution or providing a broad solution or talking about a very broad problem. So the pool, the audience I attracted was very broad. The pool of people was very, very broad. And that's why it went very viral. But when you do that, you also are going to be having a lot of filtering to do and attracting a whole bunch of people, qualified and unqualified people. And mainly it's going to be unqualified people because the ratio is going to be very high of unqualified people, right? So, of course, when you do that, you want to be doing a lot of filtering. You want to be having a VA, some sort of VA or some sort of conversational flow. If you do that manually, well, good luck, because handling 1,000 comments is definitely not going to be something you could do in a day, since LinkedIn has this 50 profile per hour view kind of rate you can only do. Otherwise, it will flag your account for automation or just um, spammy kind of behavior. So once you get to this point, you want to go through a lot of filtering, as I said, and the typical way I've done that is by sending the resource. So, hey name, here's the resource you've asked for and the resource name. And then I would send the link, and then I would have an icebreaker or a conversation starter, as you can see here. And a conversation starter would also resonate or some sort of have a connection with the resource. So, for example, I've done a resource talking about sales. So I would ask questions like, sales rep. So I would ask questions like, Do you currently have sales rep or SDRs in your team? Are they performing well? Or another example could be, I've done um, a lead magnet where I would basically do system breakdown on my LinkedIn, and I would usually lead by, is LinkedIn bringing you any clients or are booking you any calls, right? And then that would then lead to having a whole conversation. So you would ask more questions to qualify the lead, get that lead temperature higher, so warm up the lead even more, and then eventually pitch a call and book a call, right? So that's how you do that through lead magnets. As I said, that's how we've done it. And then the other way we've gotten a lot of sales, a lot of traffic, and a lot of calls was by using sort of especially quality driven, very qualified leads and quality driven traffic was thanks to this type of content type, which is proof driven and credibility driven type of content. So content like me breaking down how me, Dushan, and Batter went viral. Now this did pretty well, and that went pretty well because it kind of spoke to a lot of people and it resonated to a lot of people. So a lot of agency owners or people that wanted to have some sort of personal branding on LinkedIn or wanted to go viral resonate with that type of post. So the type of engagement you would get or volume you would make with these type of posts is pretty mid to low. I mean, I've done 247 comments and 170 likes here, but I've also done 37 likes and 18 comments, and I've also done 125 likes and 95 comments. So it can depend, depending on what you're kind of going through. You can camouflage lead magnets in this kind of content section, if we may, like I've done over here, where I was basically just giving away the breakdown on why they went viral, why those lead magnets went viral. But it would, as I said, it would kind of depend on what you're giving away. So you could use lead magnet, or if you're just gonna do like a client testimonial, you won't be doing very well. Or you can be like storytelling your way through the case study. That could go pretty well as well. I mean, that's what went pretty well for me as well. And this type of content, this content type will get you very high quality leads. Like my best clients came from these type of content. And the reason why I want you guys to invest a lot of time into this section is because you get people that literally just book a call straightly. Just go on your profile and just book a call without even, I mean, they may even like comment and they may not even wait for you to send a resource. They should literally book a call. It's that easy because, you know, in some way, the case study resonated with them a lot and they saw themselves as, you know, they saw themselves within that case study explanation and they said, well, I want to achieve such and such results. Let me just book a call, right? Just makes more sense. So you either get people that straightly book a call, which will happen, or people that comment, and of course you have to send a resource or just engage with these people. But very low filtering will happen in this kind of procedure because they are very warm. If they resonate with that type of content, so case study led content, proof, credibility driven type of content, it would just end up being just a warmer combo because they know you have an agency and you've done XYZ results, and you're probably going to messaging them just to say, hey, do you want to replicate those results, right? So what you want to do once you start, a conversation with the people that have engaged on these posts, you just basically increase awareness level. So, hey, are you currently having a lead gen problem? I mean, or here's how I would usually engage with people from a post like this one in the middle over here. Let me just do this like this one. I would say, hey, name, I saw that you liked my recent post on how I helped David go from 0 to 19K thanks to LinkedIn. Have you ever thought about LinkedIn as a system in itself, or to just make more money or to get more calls in? So it increases the solution awareness level. So they are aware that they need some sort of lead gen solution. They just don't know if LinkedIn might be the solution for them yet. So what you do in the DMs is increase that level of awareness, solution awareness in this case. So you get them to understand that LinkedIn will be the system that will help them resolve the problem they have, which could be lead gen, right? Or in this case, for the lead magnet, you would just send the resource and then the combo opener can be like a little bit more warmer. Hey, are you looking to go viral on LinkedIn? Are you looking to grow your LinkedIn? Because of course they engage in a post that talks about how to grow on LinkedIn. So might as well ask them, hey, are you looking to grow here? right? And or content like this, so like more of storytelling type of content, you would get a lot of people to engage here. Pretty good quality leads come from here as well. And you would say, hey, I appreciate your support on the content. Would you mind sharing with me your experience here on LinkedIn? I would love to know how you found LinkedIn, or has LinkedIn worked for you so far? Have you ever thought about investing time and energy into LinkedIn or stuff along those lines? Also, be very personalized. So do open the profile of the people that engage with these type of content, and understand what conversation starter might be best or better to use, right? And of course, once you do that, you pitch a call and get a qualified call. And that's what we've done. And then for personal and value led type of posts, you wouldn't do very good volume. I mean, that's what we haven't done. And the quality is pretty mid. I mean, kind of depends. I mean, if you're giving a lot of value, let's just say I'm doing a post where I say, hey, do not use this type of copy framework. A lot of people would, most of the people that would engage would resonate a lot with that post because they're probably running outreach, right? And they're liking and support the content because they gotten some value off of it. You can of course message them and say, hey, so that you've engaged with the what to not do when doing outreach posts. Um, how's your outreach performing, right? Curious to know. So the quality could be pretty mid, or you could also get like people that are literally like starting out from scratch and are trying to get as much value from you as possible for free. Or another portion of engagement we've had, me and my clients, are the loyal audience, the loyal kind of people. Let's just say that. So the people you attract into your funnel, the more loyal ICP or audience, if we may, would engage in these type of posts, because this type of post will not go viral unless, of course, you're talking about, hey, I broke my leg, and whilst I broke my leg, I also went and closed a 10K deal. Well, of course, you're going to go viral there, right? But that basically never happens because even if you're talking about some sort of personal story or something that happened to you, very rarely something like that happens, right? And no, never in my experience I went viral with a personal story or a personal kind of value driven type of content. Most of the times I've posted these type of content, it was 30, 40, 50 likes at most. So you definitely see the loyal audience in this post engagement and the post performance, which is a good thing. So you kind of can see who engaged, and if they're qualified, you can message them, and you definitely know they are liking your profile, sorry, your content, because they're looking at your profile a lot of times and they're just liking on whatever you post. So they're kind of like a fanboy, if we may, ish, in like a very more camouflage and subtle way. So you can definitely get some leads from this type of posts, okay? And of course, you just want to lead like typical way, convo opener, icebreaker, qualify them, and then pitch a call. The same way you basically would do for the other two ways. Now, well, there aren't many key metrics or KPIs I'm going to keep in mind when doing content, because key performance indicators when it comes to content may change from person to person, from your niche, from yourself. Sex, age, the front man can be like a very big factor when it comes to LinkedIn post performance as well. So most of the clients that went viral for me were people that had a very broad audience, had a very good service, or had a very clear positioning, so it was easier for them to go viral. Now, I also have clients in like more niche um, kind of industries that don't go viral but do very well on outreach, like Lindsay, right? For example, I mean, she does pretty well with content. Don't get me wrong, but I very rarely think she'll ever go viral the way I go viral, or most of my clients, agency owner clients, go viral, right? Now, my client kind of average when it comes to content, the inbound system in itself. Most of my clients go viral like twice a week ish. I do around 5 to 10,000 k, 5 to 10K impressions per day ish as like a typical average. So yeah, that's kind of that. And I just quick side note, I've booked 109 calls from in the last 2 months, so from September till now. Today's the 11th. I mean, technically the 10th, but it is the 11th now because it's 1 a.m. Um, but yeah, so That's kind of the content system. Now, for the outbound system, what we've done for my clients is either the direct way to find leads, or there's more kind of an indirect, but still kind of direct way. I'll explain what I mean in a second. Now, the typical way is Sales Navigator search. You put in all the filter. You do all the filtering, the adding the criterias. They have to have posted on LinkedIn. Otherwise, you're going to be sending connections to people that don't even use LinkedIn. So definitely have that as like a filter when doing LinkedIn outreach through Sales Navigator, and then send a connection request to Notes on a Note, of course, and then the outreach flow should be something along the lines of thanking them for accepting the connection, and doing a very quick elevator pitch with proof, so with like case studies or stuff along those lines, and a conversation opener. Let me make an example. Also, you will also get access to some outreach copy I have used in the past that went pretty well in this video, somewhere in this video. As I said, I won't be going through, how to create powerful lead magnets and viral lead magnets, how to go viral on LinkedIn, or how to write outreach in this video. This is just a system breakdown of what me and my clients have used, but I'll give you like a rough kind of idea. Now, here's something that has worked very well for me and could work very well for you as well. Now, let's say you're an agency owner, right? You would send a message to other fellow agency owners, since you help agency owners scale, right, on LinkedIn, like myself. You would say, "Hey, name, thanks for accepting my connection. Just wanted to pop by your DMs and say that I have been 4 times an agency owner, and I've helped people like XYZ go from X to Y in Z time frame. So I've helped people like Barra go from 0 to 10K on LinkedIn. I've helped people like Dushan get over 8,000 inbound leads. I've helped people like Gabriele do 60K USD in the last 90 days, etc., etc., etc. Have you ever considered LinkedIn as a system?" That's something that has worked in the past. Something that may work even more could be, "Hey, name, thanks for accepting my connection." Some sort of like qualified, um, sorry, so some sort of personalized phrase, or some sort of like specific thing you've noticed about their profile. Let's just say someone's like pretty new on LinkedIn. I would say, "Hey, so that you're pretty fresh here on LinkedIn. Just popping by your DMs because I have a story to share, a story that you may resonate a lot with, like Bader, who went from 0, like you are in right now, and scaled to 10K through LinkedIn in only 90 days, and now he has 3.5K followers. Is this something of your interest? As in, would you be interested to grow your agency and scale your offer here on LinkedIn?" That could be an example that could work pretty well. I've used outreach copies similar to what I've explained right now, so definitely tap into something like that. And then the other thing I definitely want to put some time into is, do not SOP your outreach script straight away. That's something I've done for all my clients. I do not SOP everything instantly. I go with the flow, I see how people react, and after that, I would SOP whatever. So after you see patterns happen again and again into the DMs, you then say, right, well, if I'm saying X, everybody's replying with Y, so it makes sense to say Z, right? So after you've seen a lot of patterns happen in the DMs, you then say, "Hey, let me SOP everything." But other than that, in the early stages of your outreach kind of system implementation, if we may, you definitely want to go with the flow. See how people react and see how people engage, and be very human. Be as human as possible. Be as yourself as possible. Just pretend like you're speaking with a friend, and don't be too salesy, don't be too bitchy. Just be very professional and clear on who you are, what you do, and why they would benefit by your help, services, or your time. And then, of course, the conversation should be led to then saying, "Hey, I just, know I can help you with this. And what if we just hop on the call and I can show you how I can help you with XYZ? No strings attached." And then book a qualified call. Okay, of course, you're not going to be pitching in the first call. You're just going to be positioning yourself. If you're starting out, or if you're, pretty well positioned agency owner, of course, you won't be offering help. You would just like literally book a call after like the second message, right? But if, of course, if you're starting out, like most of my clients have in the early stages, this is what we've done, and we've gotten a lot of calls thanks to this method. The other way, which is like a semi-direct, semi-indirect way, the reason I say indirect is because you don't find LinkedIn leads through SalesNav. You just found it in a different way, which is through finding a popular competitor of yours. Say you're an agency owner, you would go and search up people like, I don't know, Iman Gaji, he targets a lot of agency owners, Charlie Morgan, people like them. Or you can filter it out by competitors that offer somewhat similar services to you. So a guy that could be a competitor of mine could be Matthew Lakayev. He helps people scale on LinkedIn through a video course he sells. So I could go on his profile, I'll check bottom of funnel slash middle of funnel type of content. So content that are talking mainly about solution he provides is problems he arises that resonate with a lot of people and the solution for that problem, or um, sale flash sale type of content, any type of content that isn't very broad, that is just talking about specific problems and specific solutions. I will go on the people who've engaged or have commented, and I will literally send a connection and interact with them. So, for example, let's just say it finds a post that Matthew Lakayev has done talking about how to improve your LinkedIn outreach and your copy. I would go on everybody who's commented to get access to that resource, like their comment, and then go on their profile and then connect with them with note, and then say, hey, are you currently looking to improve your outreach? Because I just made, and then you would say you've done a resource, right? And that's how you basically steal these people from your biggest competitor. They are in target because if they ask for that resource, they're just probably looking to get some help or improve some sort of aspect of their agency, their coaching offer, or whatever they're offering, right? So that's that. You may have a warmer approach in this case, as I said before. Like, you can connect with them once they accept the connection. You say, hey, are you currently looking to improve your outreach? I mean, if they're coming from Matthew Lukayev's post, which is about outreach copy improvement, you can just start a conversation with saying, hey, are you looking to improve your outreach? Like, literally picking up from where they engage, right? Of course, when you do this script, you still want to have like a little bit of proof and do that kind of elevator pitch saying, hey, I'll do this and that, and here's some proof. And then the conversation opener can be, as I said, hey, are you looking for ways to improve your outreach? And still, here again, go with the flow and then offer help to via the call, and then you'll book a qualified call. Now, as for the system, the outreach system in itself, now some benchmarks you want to keep in mind here is, of course, maxing out connections every week, and that the limit is 250 connections a week with LinkedIn Navigate Sales Navigator. If your account is more aged, you may end up even doing a little bit more, but it won't be more than 300 a week, which is like very rare, by the way. I've only seen that with clients of mine. I've had LinkedIn for like 8 years, 9 years. So speaking for most of the users on LinkedIn, which have used LinkedIn for the last year, or I've had LinkedIn for the last year, you will be able to send 250 connection a week, so 1,000 connection a month. And if you're not doing or doing less than 40%, you have less of a 40% connection acceptance rate, you probably have a problem, a profile optimization problem. What does that mean? What I mean by that is that your profile isn't giving trust, isn't giving credibility, isn't giving, hey, I want to connect with this guy type of vibe. So if you don't have that, it's definitely a signal to improve that part, that aspect, by just showing that you're more professional with like a more cleaner type of profile banner, a better profile picture, and a clear marketing positioning statement in your profile headline. Okay. And then the other thing is most of my clients have over 40% in connection acceptance rate, but that's because, of course, I help them to position them very well and to look like very crisp, clean, and professional, and look like a very knowledgeable, skilled professional in their own area of expertise. And the other thing you want to keep in mind, you want to have at least a 40% open rate. If you don't, I mean, there's definitely something wrong with the copy. And of course, if you have less than 50% reply rate, you're probably doing the wrong, you're probably asking the wrong conversation breaker or icebreaker or conversation starter, whatever you want to call it, right? And if you're booking less than 1 to 3 calls, or there's an issue with your conversational flow as well there, because my clients do around 3 to 7% in book rate and 30 to 65% in reply rate, and have 50 to 80% open rate. That means they either book 16 or 38 calls per month average, because the average is 550 new connection months. If you do, the average between 40 and 70 connection, 40 to 70% connection acceptance rate, that is kind of the average, right? And that means the average client might, worst case scenario, does 16 calls a month or does 38 calls a month. And that is for outreach. Now, for emails, now this is a very, very skeptical one now, because a lot of people think in 2025 cold emails don't work. You shouldn't be doing cold emails. It's a waste of time, money, and effort, and whatever, yada yada yada. Well, you're completely wrong, because I do it, my clients do it, and we've been doing very, very well. I know clients and people, I have clients, and I know people that have been booking calls, even 3 to 5 calls a day. I know people that do that. And I have a client of mine that's booking a call a day. I book around a call every 2 days as well, and they're very qualified. Now, one thing a lot of people will tell you to do and you just end up not doing it is invest most of the time in the scraping leads part. You want to be getting the best quality leads, which is, as I said, pretty obvious, but a lot of the people I've helped in the past, couple of months, when it comes to implementing this cold email system, they spend more time in the strategic parts of the body they want to be using and the subject lines want to be using, rather than investing most of the time into the, hey, I need good quality leads, otherwise they're just not going to engage with the body and the copy I'll be making. I can make the best copy, the best body, but if the quality is bad, your email campaign just won't perform well. So invest a lot of time in scraping and finding the right leads. Now, one thing you'll benefit a lot from when doing this scraping lead part is using SMMM Deal Finder, especially if you're an agency owner doing marketing services, lead gen services, or something along those lines. Because SMMM Deal Finder is a database, cookie-driven database that has over 6 million, nearly 7 million leads of people that are looking to get social media marketing or lead gen services. So you would literally outreach and prospect to people that need your services, of course, if you offer marketing services. Okay. So definitely invest time into that if you're an agency owner offering marketing services. And that applies for different industries. There's people in the real estate industry, in the refurbishing industry, there's typical just businesses, local businesses. You can also filter out by location. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. And of course, get the verified email. So definitely check that out. Then, once you have your pretty good lead list and you filter it out, you want to use Instantly. Of course, Instantly is, for me, I mean, from my experience, has been the best cold email platform, if we may. So definitely tap into Instantly. Now, one thing you need before you start your campaign is, email accounts and have them warmed up. Now, you can spend $90 and get warmed up accounts directly from Instantly in around like 10 days, a week, something like that. I would definitely advise you to do that, because it's like literally done for you. Now, once you've then imported the list, you then need to start the campaign. Here is the strategic part of it. I will zoom in and show you this, but when it comes to the body, you can just pause the video and go through the email body, which these are all email bodies I've used that are doing pretty well. Most of these email bodies have performed well enough to book me even 20 calls a month, 30 calls a month, which is kind of the average I was in when I was using these emails. I kind of changed them. Of course, I can't give you my personal one because it's my personal one, but it's basically just same body you're seeing here, but just in with different words, basically. Now, let's invest some time into what are the subject lines that are working right now that have worked for me slash my clients. One is the booked call kind of framework. So saying, hey, I booked a call with you, or the subject line basically saying new event. Like if you were to book a call with someone, right? Literally the subject line is a new event, and then a recipient name, and then your name, and then date, time, and location, whatever. Or appointment cancelled, or appointment reschedule, or can we reschedule our call, something along those lines. Okay. Now another one is a bold provocation. I've used this in the past and it's done pretty well. I think it was like a 40 something percent open rate. which was like, I want you, I need you, you probably hate me if you read this email, you probably hate this email, things along those lines, right? And then another one is deal simulation, which is basically saying deal closed, pipeline updated, um, potential upsell, potential new client, or things something along those lines, right? Or another thing, another subject line I know a friend of mine has used that went pretty well for him was um, I may want to work with you, deal name, which was like simulating as if someone found his email and was outreach prospecting to them to work together, right? And then as for the body, there's conversational curiosity opener, so like explaining your system in a very intriguing way. The other one is the system value proposition, so just saying, hey, do you want this, or do you want this or not, and like giving um an invitation to like set it up. And then the other one is like a friendly pressure. Now, as I said, I'll just zoom in and you can stop the video here so you can go through this email body, and the same for this one and the same for this one here as well. Okay. Now, all of this will then lead to qualified calls. Now, one thing I would suggest is, the booked call and the conversational curiosity opener go together, and the bold provocation goes together with the system value proposition. Now, deal simulation goes well with the friendly pressure. Now, you can also play around with these and mix them around, but of course, the body would change, or some aspect of the body would change, because I've used these each subject line for each body, as you can see in order. So the booked call one, where I used it with the conversational curiosity opener, etc., etc. You get the point, right? And the other thing I would suggest, you launch A/B tests, so you can use the booked call subject line framework with a conversational curiosity opener type of body email, right, etc., etc., etc. Now this has done pretty well for me, and I've used different email templates, by the way. So it's more than these, but it's just different, literally just variants of the ones you can see here on screen. Now, some benchmarks you want to keep in mind when doing cold email, or just to go and see if your cold email campaign is doing well or not, is trying to have at least 30% open rate. If you're not doing that, you literally are using the worst subject line ever. Most of my clients are in the 40 to 60% in open rate ish. Some of which also, some of my clients are doing a little bit less, but it kind of also relies on the lead list you have. If you have a not very good lead list, sometimes open rate may be less than that, but that's kind of the average. As a reply rate, we have anywhere between a 5 to 11%, because it's like very direct. It's either a yes or a no. It's like a hot and cold kind of approach, the way we take on cold email. As for book rate, anywhere from 1 to 1.5% to 4% has been the peak we've gotten. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Now this whole thing sums up kind of the whole system I have used, and this is basically how I scale offers if you're an agency owner or a coach. So if you are an agency owner or you are a coach and you want to add an extra 10K a month to your monthly revenue, you should be definitely tapping into this system, because you're missing out on a very, very, very big opportunity. And of course, if you haven't already, or you maybe have tried the system but you're just not doing very good results, I am more than happy to show you in a call and show you how we can help you out. So without further ado, I'll see you on the other side.